Cozumel tomorrow, I have an excursion. It's after midnight, so, like, what am I doing up here on the pool deck and not in bed? Who knows? Good morning, friends. It is about 10:30, which is pretty early for me, I'd say. They're serving late breakfast right now, and I have thought about going up there and checking it out, but I'm not quite hungry yet. First, I want to go look around over the side of the ship and see who else is in port with us, what we can see from here of Costa Maya, because I'm not getting off. I've decided. I was just in Costa Maya like a few weeks ago. I'll be back again in, I believe, December, maybe. Anyway, an upcoming cruise. So I'm going to take advantage of the fact that everybody's off the ship today and, have my own sort of makeshift sea day. I've done this before. The thing about Costa Maya that's really cool is if you don't have an excursion booked, it's one of those ports where you can still, like, get off and do stuff. I've been to ports where you're almost forced into getting a shore excursion, and I'm not a fan of that. At Costa Maya, they have this purpose-built area that's designed just for the passengers that are getting off of the cruise ships, and it's got all kinds of shops and restaurants and bars and stores and even like its own section of beach and a pool and whatever, and all of that is accessible to the guests. Some of it is included, some of it is a little bit of a fee. You can also get like a massage on the beach there if you want, which I've heard is a lot cheaper than the ones on board. But I'm gonna go up to the spa right now and see what they have, since it's a sea day or whatever, for me to get either today or tomorrow afternoon. So that's what's happening now. But I'll take you with me, of course. We'll see what we see and do what we do, and we'll talk soon. I left my room, and when I got out into the hall, there was a $50 gift voucher for the spa, almost as though they knew I was planning on going. So I took that as a sign from above that I needed to go to the spa, and I actually booked a hot stone treatment. I had only ever done Swedish massage before, so it was nice to have something that was going to be a little bit more deep tissue and a little different. All right, friends. So I'm sorry it is super, super loud in here. They have this cool spa, like, pool thing in the solarium. I'll show you a closer up of that in a second. But anyway, one thing that is great about not getting off on a sea day, or if you get off early and come back early, is the ship is relatively empty. So I'm in this hot tub by myself, and the one on the other side is also empty, so it's pretty awesome. I have booked the spa treatment. It hasn't hit my account yet, but it was listed at $179 for the hot stone treatment, and then I had the $50 off, which they did honor, so $129. There will be some gratuities on top of that, so I'm looking at about $150, which is a lot, but that's how much onboard credit I have, so I have to spend the credit. It's non-refundable, so this is the way to do it. So yeah, that's what's up. I have my appointment in about 3 hours, so I'm gonna shower and everything before I go over there, and hopefully I'm more beautiful when you see me later. But yeah, I'll definitely feel more relaxed. But anyway, that's it for now. We'll talk soon. So I sat out there in the solarium for a while, and it's nice sometimes to just chill and relax and take it easy. I know people go out there and read books and stuff, and maybe that's something I'll do in the future. I just haven't read a lot lately because I got burnt out in grad school because I was reading like a novel a week. I actually had another cruise booked immediately after this one, and I was supposed to take a train from Fort Lauderdale up to Orlando so that I could go out of Port Canaveral, but we were getting all kinds of notifications about weather systems in Florida, and this was when Hurricane Nicole was about to hit the East Coast. So I kept checking the Amtrak app to make sure that everything was good to go with my train, and at this point in time, it was showing on time with no issues. Hey friends, so I'm back to the room. I look like I have a bowl cut. I promise I don't. I was in the hot tub and stuff, as you saw already at this point. But why am I here? That's a good question. I just came down to drop off the spa receipt and all that stuff, and I'm gonna go explore a little bit more of what's happening on the pool deck, and maybe get in a pool at some point. I need to come back and shower for the spa treatment, and because most of you maybe already know, some of you don't. I have vitiligo. It's a pigmentation issue. You can't really see it too much in this because I'm wearing concealer, but I need to wash that off before I go to the spa, because if you watched my Carnival Splendor Alaska videos, you'll know that my legs started melting off in the middle of the treatment, and the lady was kind of like, what is happening? Which is hilarious, but also super embarrassing. So I don't want that to happen again this time. So yeah, that's where we're at. That's the update. We'll talk soon. All right, so I'm about to go eat right now, but here's a little bit of a development. My train, the Amtrak train from Fort Lauderdale to Orlando, has been canceled due to what they're saying is an operational disruption. My guess is the weather. The Miami-Fort Lauderdale area is expecting the tropical storm at that point. They're on a weather watch, and the storm is possibly upgrading to a hurricane, which is super scary. But we'll see what that means for us and our sailing and, what have you. But I guess we'll find out. Play it by ear. Amtrak is, of course, refunding me the $40 whatever that I paid for the ticket, and then I was able to book a Southwest flight with points. But it's way late in the evening, 7 at night, so I'm gonna maybe do the little, airboat excursion thing that they have, but again, that's weather permitting. It does say on there that if there is weather, there will be an indoor alternative, so I don't know what that is exactly, but either way, it includes, luggage storage during the time of the actual excursion, and then transportation to the airport afterward. And so the excursion is $69, but the Uber that I would have taken would have been about $30. So for $39 more, I get an excursion and be able to, wait out the time until my flight. But anyway, so it's not a total disaster, although, the actual dollar value of the flight, since it's last minute, was a lot more than I think it should have been. So it used quite a bit of my points that I was saving for my next adventure. So we'll have to figure all that out in the future. But anyway, that's the update. Kind of a bummer. But you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes, and luckily I'm fortunate enough to adjust as things are tossed at me, but hopefully this is the only major setback for the rest of this trip. But I'll keep you posted, of course, and back to fun and games. We'll talk soon. So at this point, it was time for lunch, so I made my way up to the buffet, and they had chicken pot pie, so I grabbed one of those, and I made myself some poutine, which is fries, gravy, and cheese. And I grabbed a nice seat by the window before making my way up to the mass bar to have a drink. I started with the Dos Equis and had a few of those with Ivan the bartender while I enjoyed the relatively empty pool deck, and we were parked next to Virgin Voyage's Scarlet Lady, and we were also in port with the Celebrity Constellation, which is a sister ship to this one. And both those ships had a very similar itinerary to ours because we saw them a couple of times throughout our journey. The weather was okay, but it was actually pretty windy, so I went back inside and grabbed a Tito's coffee martini from the cafe. This ended up being my go-to boozy coffee drink, and I hung out in there for a while because the flute player piano duo was back doing their thing, and I saw that this time she also had a saxophone. And if you didn't know, I'm a saxophone player myself, so I obviously was very interested in that. And I hung out there for a few because I had a little bit longer to kill before my spa treatment, but soon I made my way up to the spa for that. If you've never done a cruise ship spa treatment before, they give you a questionnaire before and you fill that out, and that's supposed to help them better serve you and your needs, but also it gives them the opportunity to upsell you. They only attempted to do that to me once, which was nice, and it was for some eye cream, but I always get that because of my pigmentation issues around the eyes. Unfortunately, my pigmentation issues are much more autoimmune and harder to treat, so I always opt out of anything that they're offering me because chances are it'll be overpriced and it won't work anyway. After I was finished at the spa, I went up to the pool deck because I wanted to get a little bit more outdoor time before the sun went down, and it was nice up there, but it was clear that people were returning to the ship. And then from there, I went down to the martini bar because I wanted a drink, and this bartender had the practice bottles and was, attempting to juggle. The seasoned bartenders will use the actual liquor bottles, but the majority of the bartenders on my sailing were using the practice ones. Obviously, if they drop a bottle, it's a problem, so even though they were really good at what they were doing, they were playing it safe. And then from there, I made my way over to the theater because they had a production show. This was the second one of the trip, and this one was admittedly better than the first one. I really enjoyed all the songs that they sang and the choreography, and the overall vibe and everything was really good as well. Well, you only need the light when it's spinning low. Only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love it when you let it go.
So they danced their way to the back of the theater, and it was dinner time at this point. I decided to go to the buffet instead of the main dining room. And at that point in time, of course, there was all kinds of musical entertainment going on around the ship.
Hey Jude, don't be afraid. You were made to go out and get her. The minute you let her under your skin, then you begin to make it better.
After hanging out and listening to the slower paced guitar music for a while, I decided it was time for a faster vibe, and I met up with my table mates, the Canadian couple Tia and Daniel, along with the couple who sat next to us, and we all went up to the Constellation Lounge because they had like an 80s themed party, and we all just danced the night away.
All right, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and give you like the final update from the pool deck, because why not? Today was great. You know what? Something happened today. The first day I went to dinner, mind you, at 8:30 at night, which is ridiculous. But anyway, so I tend to drink a lot the first day when I'm solo, especially because embarkation's stressful, and then I'm with all these people that I don't know, and so I need that liquid courage. And so I showed up to dinner the first night pretty ridiculous, and met my table mates and all that. I haven't really talked a lot about them, but anyway, our table is a good vibe. It's me and another solo traveler, and then this Canadian couple, and then there's a couple next to us. We've all kind of joined forces because right after our dinner seating is like all the late night shows and stuff. So I went to Silent Disco with the Canadian couple, and I went to the 80s dance party tonight with all 5 of us. So much fun. They're all great. It was obvious who were the dancers among us and who weren't, but we all played along with it and had a good time. But that's it for tonight. Like I said, Cozumel tomorrow. I have an excursion. It's after midnight, so like, what am I doing up here on the pool deck and not in bed? Who knows? But anyway, that's it for this vlog. I want to thank you all for traveling with me. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, all those fun things. We'll talk soon, and y'all have a good night.